Welcome to part two of the Sage CRM training. Um, like always, we log into our application, and once we are in our application, we get into automatically the My CRM. Um, at this point, the first thing that we are going to be doing today, and what we're going to be talking about today, is the whole process of completing uh, is the whole process of completing your communications. So all the calls that you make have to be recorded, whether you leave a message or there's no answer, or the person you're talking to the person and they hang up on you. I don't really care, but whatever it is, it has to be recorded. And for every activity or for every call that you make, there will be a result that you'll be able to put in to the system. Now, in order to get to the call list, as we were talking about earlier in our first session, we need to click on Team CRM. Now, Team CRM will show you the calls that you have to make, or all the activities that are pending for your team or any particular project that we are working on. As I had mentioned earlier, the difference between Team CRM and My CRM is very little, except that My CRM are calls that are specific to you. All right, all the calls that you have to make are specific to you. Whereas Team CRM, those are calls that are the aggregate of all the people from our company who are on the specific project team. So in this case, as an example, we're using NEC. So we click on Team CRM, and we don't like this view particularly because we don't have any calendared activities. We're not meeting with anybody, but I'd like to expand the task list into a bigger list. And I could do that very quickly simply by clicking on the list view icon just in the actions bar, as we had discussed earlier. Perfect. So now we are in the communications, or all the tasks, or all the people that we need to call. Now, this list here can be filtered and could be sorted in different ways. So, for example, I could see the calls that are, right now I'm looking at the calls that are far back, going from the earliest date to the largest date. So here we have a call that was supposed to have been made in 2010, and if we go to the last page, we'll see calls that are supposed to be made in 2014. All right, so this is basically our call. This is where we're getting all our calls. This is our call queue, if you want. Now we could change the order simply by clicking on any one of these various. We can change to sort it by whatever we want. So if I want to see the latest calls first, then I can just click on this, and it will now give me that 2014 call that I was supposed to make, that I'm supposed to make in 2014, or that somebody is supposed to make from this team. But let's go back to make sure that we have sorted the whole call list or queue, from the earliest date to the latest date. All right. So when we're in our call list, the first thing that we are going to do is notice that we have here the various action buttons. So now this will allow me to filter this call list as a function of certain actions. So for example, I want to see only the pending activities for all these communications. If I wanted to see, let's say, the completed activities, I could do that and click on the filter, and bang. All right. The same way, I could go back to pending and I could say I want to see all the pending, but I want to see with the activity code of cold call. So for example, here now I can do that, and now it's going to show me over here all the cold calls that need to be done. Here's the activity code, and sorted sorted by earliest first. So these are all the pending cold calls. So now if I want to see all the calls, I can just click here, go to all, and I click on filter, and now I'm back where I started, where I see all the calls that need to be made, not just the cold calls. Okay, so again, very, very important that you understand how these filters work, because sometimes you might not see anything here, and it's just because somebody had played with a filter here. So make sure that you're always looking at your pending calls and leave everything else to all, and then click on filter. It's very important that you click on the filter button. All right, so I have my calls now. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to the call. In order to go to the call, the first thing I want to do is actually go to the company itself. And notice that these are all hyperlinks. If I go to this link, it's going to take me to the person, which isn't necessarily where I want to go. Because when I call the person, I'm going to be asking them a bunch of questions. So, and those questions are going to be stored against the company, not necessarily the person at the company. So I go first thing I do is I click on the company name. And this takes me straight, if you remember from the first part, this is the context area showing you that I'm in the company context or company entity, whatever you want to call it. It's the same thing. All right, so I'm in the company context, and here I see all the tabs relating to the company. So here I have the summary, I have the communications, I have any notes, I have any people, I have addresses, phone numbers, and email addresses. All that is related to the company that I'm on. I also have the summary view, which is what I like the most actually. And in the summary view, this is where you will have the list of questions that you need to ask for any particular campaign. So for example, I may need to know how many employees these people do. Now, in order to get into start editing here, all I did is I clicked on the hyperlink here, and it takes me straight here, and I will now be able to put in the proper numbers, okay, or any of the information that I've been asked to fill out, and that will be in this area here. Okay, I make my modifications, I fill out all this information from over here, and I press save. So now you'll notice that all the edits that I made were done. Remember, if I do not press save, nothing gets saved. So if I change this to 45 instead of 40, and then I go back to the company, this will stay at 40, okay? Because I did not save it. So it's very important that you save everything. So I'm filling out the company information here. So I'm talking to the person. I'm getting all the qualification questions answered. They are different for every campaign, so they will be in this area here. I will confirm the address. So here I want to confirm the address, and I type in if there's a modification. I might put in the modification, and then I press save. Again, very important to press the save button. If I go back to the summary, then I could change the phone numbers and the emails. So if the best number is not 5551212 but 5551213, I change it again, and then I press save. Again, it's very important to press the save button. And here I am now going to choose my contact. So if this person is not the right contact, and let's say they give me a new person who might be the main contact, well, all I do is I click on new person here and I add that person. So I might put in um, might put them there and their title, and I might put in some notes about this person. He's either a decision maker. Um, I'm always fill in the proper territory depending on which campaign I'm working on. Otherwise, you will not be able to see this. And I want to set this person as the default person. Okay. Now this person might have a different phone number, so I might put in the different phone number over here. So he might be at 5121212, but he's at extension 24. All right, so I could put all that in. This might not be his email address. He might have another email address, which might be Trevor ZZ at blah 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 dot ca. All right, and now I save. So I've pretty well filled out all the information, and if there's other information here, I could fill that out. Now remember, do not fill out the area code. Put the whole phone number, including the extension, in the number box. So now guess what I got to do now? I have to absolutely make sure that I click on save. And before I click on save, that I make sure that this person is um, on the. So as I was saying before, I hit the save button. I should set this person as the default person. Okay, so because there in any one company there may be a number of different people. So now I press this, and if you notice here under the I'm brought to the person entity right now. So this is now I'm looking at Trevor Smith, the person. Okay, and so this is very, very important to understand that I'm looking at the person now, not at the company. So now if I click on the hyperlink over here called ZZ Junk, it takes me back to the company entity. All right, and if I go back to summary here, I will see that Trevor is the main contact at this company. All right, now when I get this information all set up, I can now go to the communications, and I could now complete this task. And I'm going to do this in a third part to go over how to complete the communications.